Yo, welcome back to another episode of What's Up, Cuzzo. Today we'll be tackling a few questions. One is like this question that's been going around for a while. I don't know where it came from, but we're gonna see if we can shed some light on the topic. And then also we're gonna tackle sports. Forgive me, y'all. It's my planning. Show was gonna be a little shortened today, but it's all good. But without further ado, uh shout out to Melly in the building.
What up? What up? What's up, cousin? How you feeling?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't complain.
Marco,
There we go. There we go.
AKA. There we go.
Yeah, no AKAs, man.
No,
Not yet.
AKA.
Not yet. I'm not gonna tell him yet, man. But
Gotcha.
yeah, your boy, myself, Marco is in the building. Take a bow, man. So let's hop right into it, man. Since we are already behind. So today, um, well, not actually today, but it's been kind of circling social media for the last few weeks that at least that I heard of. But people are asking the question: can 100 average men take down a silverback gorilla?
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. Um, I don't know where this question actually came from, but I don't know. Would you like to see that? See 100 men try?
I mean, it's gonna be a quick fight, you know. And I'm asking like, all right, do they get knives? Do they get, some type of tools? Like, what do they actually get to attempt this feat? That's what I would be interested in.
No, it's hand to hand combat.
Hand combat. Nah,
Hand to hand combat.
that's gonna be a quick fight.
Also, the men are gonna win then.
No, that's the other way around.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen enough Planet of the Apes. I've seen enough King Kong. I've seen enough movies to where men are fighting apes or monkeys, and it doesn't look good. If you know about any of those people in real life, um, monkeys, chimps, how they fight and how they, tear your fingers off, tear your face
like
off.
your face, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's not like they gonna follow the rules and use protective gear and
No hitting below the belt.
double hit below the. They don't care because they gonna bite below the belt. They gonna rip your entrails out. Stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think that would be, a fight in the 100 guys' favor, in my opinion.
Man, yeah, I think I'll pass too. If it was to happen, yeah, I would. I definitely would watch it because I would. It might be like one of those Mike Tyson fights back in the day, right? People pay all that money. You know what I'm saying for a Mike Tyson fight that's over 1 minute into the first round.
Right.
Yeah, man. So, but that actually poses another question for me. Like, why is this even important? You know what I mean? What is the reason for them bringing this up? What do you think? Why do you think that this is like on our timelines or flooding our timelines?
Well, I mean, it could be a few different reasons, and me just understanding, from what I know and understand, and what I read and understand based on books, and then this research. It's propaganda like any other thing. If you put something out on social media and psychologically speaking, it kind of captivates or AKA goes viral, we have to figure out, from a psychological standpoint, why that happens and why that matters. What do people pay attention to, or what kind of grabs the attention, and then actually kind of expands the imagination of people? So that's one case in a way I would look at it. And then again, like you say, what's the reason? I'm not really certain of the reason. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely know that people like confusion, people like violence, people like things like that. So what can we do? I don't know who the we is, but what can we do to uh grasp people attention, to your point? And I know we have a lot of other stuff that I think is a lot more important going on in the world. And I don't know. It, like you said, it could be a lot of things, but it also could be a distraction, to keep our focus off of the other important things that are going on. Or it may be something that's going to happen, that everybody's focused on this thing that's flooding our timelines that slips under our nose and we miss. I know it's happened before. I know it would probably be better to do my research, so I could have have some of those things up. But I don't know. It just seems like things like this, grabs people's attention, and other things in the background, like I said, more important that are happening in the world that we should be focused on. And nothing like a a thing like this to take our focus off of, or to, like a magician. I don't know if there's like a magician out there who doesn't use deception or tricks or sleight of hand and things like that. And this could be one of those things. I don't know. Inquiring minds want to know though. I don't really have a opinion, but it does, bring about questions.
Right. I mean, the things that you're saying, to me, it kind of gives credence to people should question things more versus just going along with them. And I know a lot of times people hear something like that and then say, "Well, oh, you're thinking too deeply about it," or you.
Conspiracy theorists.
I mean, not only conspiracy theorists, but it's like people like to make fun of people who ask questions that digs deeper into what they're looking at or what they're seeing.
Right.
And because your interpretation of something is like this and mine is like that, you know, and yours is on the surface and mine is beneath the surface, you know, I'm made fun of because I have a deeper thought and meaning, of what I'm, you know, interpreting based on what we're looking at.
Right.
And that just comes from, I saw a post today and it's basically saying it's the words that you use, it's the words that you speak that kind of creates the matrix. If you remember the movie The Matrix, it was a great movie at its time for when it came out. The
Right.
action, the special effects, all that stuff was groundbreaking at the time. And for what it's worth, people were not looking at that movie, as people are looking at it today,
Right.
with a deeper meaning in another eye, per se, you know. So when we talk about, why things go viral or why uh, things have opinions versus on popularity, whose popular opinion? Because when I hear stuff like that, it's a buzzword. Well, popular opinion says this, or the numbers say this, or 100 men versus a gorilla would do this, or 100 women versus this would say that. I'm like, where does that come from? Like, that's what I would be looking to understand. Like, who makes those determinations? You know, who's in control of, what the people think, how the people talk, and, and I don't think it's any one person, but I think we all think and look at things collectively, but we don't talk about things in a way that um, we could all understand, certain situations to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes, it's interesting. All the things that we have going on, these important things with our country, those would be the talking points, but they're not. So I think because those are not the talking points, things like this come up,
Right.
100 gorilla because they don't want to talking about the more important things.
And if you look, to go deeper into the movie that you brought up, the Matrix, if you look at Morpheus, what like his goal, what he was trying to do, and if you had, also include, what he was trying to what he gave to some and what he was trying to give to Neo in the movie, it was a red pill, right? But people have changed that to mean something different in like the um social media or content creation community, and all he was trying to do is get people to see what was really going on behind the scenes. It wasn't really what things actually look like to them. I don't remember, I forgot the dude, what's his name, Gears or something like that. I forgot the dude's name, but he was like, man, I do not want to believe that this nasty stuff I'm eating is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to believe it's a steak. And so he was at the table eating a steak with I think I'm not Mr. Anderson, agent, with the agents, right? And so he didn't want to know what was really going on. And I think that's how a lot of people are. They just plugged in, and they don't want to know what's really going on around them. And that's why stuff like this starts to grab their attention and get their focus, because this is what you know the what am I trying to say? This is what the programming wants them to see or hear. I don't know if you heard when we talked earlier, I said, if you see a video or something that you want to play, I said, probably with us talking about it, it'll probably show up on your feed or something like that. That's what the programming, is there for, but we don't have to subscribe to the programming, you know? So I don't know if this 100 Men versus Gorilla thing, what it's, used for. I don't know if it is, I mean, it is a distraction. It could be distracting you from a whole lot of things, but I don't know if there's like something else that is distracting you, us trying to distract us from, yeah. So I know we're short on time. We'll go ahead and hop into the next subject, but you know what? I did actually have one thing to say. Real quick.
Go ahead.
Man, nah, I'm gonna save it. Cool. So really quick, I know we talked about last week about Shedeur Sanders. We know that he was drafted 5th round, 144th pick, and a lot of people had a lot of things to say. A lot of things happened. He got prank called by someone, and we found out who it was. And some other NFL players had some things to say. So we're gonna actually play what Chris Carter had to say. Let's see. There we go.
All right. So what happened with Shedeur Sanders?
Well, a number of things happened. The number one thing that didn't happen was there was not a collusion message with the NFL owners.
Okay. What? Okay. A lot of people think that.
Because they wouldn't be able to keep a secret like that. And
So they might do it, but they couldn't shut up about it.
they wouldn't be able to shut up about it. But every owner is very, very selfish. Now, why would I do something to my detriment? Like if I need a quarterback and I think this kid is it, what he didn't realize is the guys that have fallen in the draft before, they all had unusual traits. Like they had some superstar qualities to them. Now, some other things happened that made them fall, but Shedeur and his family, they overplayed their hand. Them thinking that he was in the same evaluation mode as Eli Manning, they didn't play that right. Them trying to narrow the teams that he was going to go to, that didn't do right. Not working out the combine, that wasn't the right thing. His interview process, obviously, he could have done a lot better in that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people left that meeting. He was very, very entitled.
Which meet? Like, because they said Brian Ball, Giants coach, had said he didn't like the meeting. He asked him, he had some book, was his playbook or something he was supposed to know, and he said he felt weird about it. I don't know who else said they didn't like the meeting with him, or were just people behind the scenes saying they did.
Well, the thing about it, they didn't draft him.
I know that.
So it's not the tape, and he likes guys to be a little more open before he lets it go. And he doesn't have a big time arm. He's not a big guy. He's not overly athletic.
Mm-hmm.
So his measurables are not, say, first round measurables, but he played football like a first rounder.
But his tape's first round tape, but his measurables are not first round measurables.
Well, you don't play football all the time. You're a human being the rest of the time. And how you're going to be in the locker room, how he already came up with this line of merchandise, legendary, like he's already calling himself legendary. All those things are problems. Right now, he's working check to check, man. Like he's not going to get a big signing bonus. There's not going to be a big guarantee. Any day they want.
I'll stop it right there because I know you have to head off soon. But give your take on that, man. Yeah.
I mean, all the points he talked about, they're valid points. I definitely give credence to people who, actually was in the professional and did it at a high level, who communicate, fairly and eloquently, about, individuals or the game, so I don't have any biases about what he said, but my thought, when I saw that happen, I didn't immediately think collusion because everybody else was thinking that. So my thing was that what everybody else was doing, what everybody was saying, I typically, move away from that because that always gets you caught up on one way of seeing it, So I always move away from whatever, the popular, mindset is. Oh, well, it's a racial thing, or they're doing this because Deion Sanders, they're gonna have to deal with him. Well, no, not necessarily. That's not what it is. If you're coming into an organization and you are, attempting to gain employment, you got to come in, with a certain type of energy and being confident, or being, at a high caliber, understanding that how to do your job and that you're the best at what you do. It's nothing wrong with having that conversation or having that energy or having that mindset and having those words. There's a different way to do it. But if someone feels that it's coming off brash or if it is coming off distasteful and cocky and you haven't done anything yet, that's going to run people the wrong way. If you're coming in and you're not prepared and, the interviewer feels like you don't really care about the job, then of course they're not going to hire you, because your dad told you, a certain thing or how it's going to go or where you're going to go in the draft. He probably went in there with the mindset of, oh, well, this is going to be like this, or this is going to be like that. So I ain't got to worry about this. Maybe, possibly, but I'm not for sure. I'm just going off, what other people are saying in terms of report. Not one person, but it's multiple people,
Right.
So when you're not an owner, you know, and when you don't own any team in the NFL, that's not how you can come in and tell people or show people, you know, that you want a job. When someone is an owner and they have a kid that's coming in, then yeah, you can do whatever you want to do because I'm going to hire him no matter what, you know.
Right.
But when you're in control of that, you have relationships, you have people that know and like you, but you have a lot of people that know and don't like you as well, you know. And you have people that's going to be fair no matter what, you know, or who it is. You know, you have all those different types of people. So there's a lot of that going on in the space and the pace, but we still have to understand and maintain a high level of understanding where we're at, who's looking at us, and what we're here to accomplish. You know, it's not to be the loudest, it's not to be the flashiest. If that's part of your persona, then understand and be so. Okay, you don't have that talent that you're coming in with. You have a name. Yes, you've done some things before, but understandably so, you still have to put in the work. You know, when Dion came in, he was all world. His
Right.
son's coming in, he's good, but he's not all world.
Right.
He's the biggest, like they were saying. He's not the fastest. It's not like he coming in like Michael Vick. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, and then the guy that got chosen first, Cam Ward, you
Cam
know,
Ward. Yeah.
totally different personality. He's coming in, is about his business, interviewed the right way, answered everything the correct way, and he did things that he was supposed to do in order to move himself in that position to get drafted very high or drafted number one. You know,
But do you think though that he wasn't good enough to be drafted as a second quarterback taken in the draft?
I think he was the second. It was other quarterback better than him in terms of talent. Always say, man,
Yeah, I think you cut out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Can you? Yeah. I mean, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. But you can skew the numbers. You know, the level of competition, you know, might have not been top tier, you know, in the league that you were in. That doesn't mean that you're not good. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be good in the NFL either. There's been, you know, people that come from way smaller schools and came in the league and done some great things, you know. But, you know,
Has drafted 6th round and win 7 championships, right?
but it's still about it's still about the experience that you have. When you go to a school like Alabama, Michigan, when you go to a school like Texas, you know, they're playing on TV every week in some of the biggest games.
Right. Against the biggest competition.
Biggest competition. Colorado, they were on TV every week because of his dad.
Right.
They were playing maybe one or two good teams all year in terms of top tier level, you know, competition. You know, so it's just kind of like when you come from that space and place, you got to understand that people are going to analyze and are going to critique your level of play differently. Yeah, the numbers are there. Yeah, they may be on par with with first round or second round, but in terms of the talent level and the competition level, they're going to what they call it, grade you on a curve. So you're not going to be graded up on the curve. You're going to be graded down on the curve. And then you come in and you have an interview or a couple of interviews that are questionable or not top tier. Yeah, they're going to push you down. So, you know, that's my spiel on it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I know we brought up the movie Matrix, right? And I know when they used to get on the ship on the Ebenezer and all the other names of the ships, I don't remember all the names, but they wanted to go back in, they would plug themselves in, right? I'm gonna plug myself back into the programming real quick. Oh no, but I really had a reaction to it, kind of like everybody else did. So that's why I said I'm gonna plug back into the programming, because it looked, I don't know, it just looked odd. It looked as if they were trying to, and I use this term, and I'm gonna use it lightly, but there was a term called bug breaking. You know what I mean? And I know Chris Carter said that the owners didn't collude, but I'm sure maybe collusion is a strong word, but I'm sure there was conversations, that went on. I'm sure there was conversations that went on between the owners, or it doesn't necessarily be owner to owner, but with their GMs, and they didn't want to take him because on everybody's board, he was going to be the second, if not the second quarterback taken, right? And so if you say that they didn't play good schools, yeah, but then you have to look at the number 2 pick. Like how was the wide receiver competition that they played against? How was the DB competition that they played against for him to get drafted, second round? And I don't know, it just didn't feel right to me. And I know feeling is not necessarily, law, but it just seemed like it was something more than just not his talent. I know that Deion said some things, and I agree, he's not a Eli Manning talent, where he could, stand on that, so that definitely, I agree I agree it could have played a part in him, going in the 5th round. And
Who said that?
also
Dion?
Deion said that, there were certain teams that that he would keep him from going, like he wouldn't go to, like they'll pull a Archie Manning, you know what I mean? How he,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, and then it's a number of things that have been brought up, but I don't know, it just seemed like, you know, it looked bad. It could have been for ratings. It could have been one of those other things, like the NFL draft made as much money in those few days as the NBA playoffs did so far. I saw a poll on that. It could have been for a number of things. But I
Right.
don't know, like when I looked at it, it didn't sit right with me. It just seemed like I don't know. It just seemed bad to me, man. And I know like he is brash, he is, cocky, and he is totally different from Cam Ward. But Cam Ward, his story is a lot different. Like Cam Ward, from my understanding, came from, nothing.
Right. Zero. No star.
Yep. And
Right.
Shador
To a
doesn't
first player.
necessarily,
Yeah.
if he doesn't play a down in the NFL, he's still good. You know what I mean? Like he,
Right.
he,
Because you have a
yeah,
name. You got a name
yeah.
already. Right.
And I think
So two.
if you look at it though, if you look at the two gentlemen, like this is what Shador knows. This is what he grew up in. This is how he was raised. Like to have that, chip per se on his shoulder. And does that say he didn't deserve what he, to get, picked so late? I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't know. It just seemed like it was something that was going on there. To Chris Carter's point, he said that, the owners didn't collude. Like I said, collude may be a strong word, but I don't know. It just seemed like it was, we're gonna show you that you're not as flashy or as legendary as you think you are. And they took him late because we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Right.
I know you want to say something. Go
Or
ahead and hop in. You can hop in.
or they looked at his body of work and his talent level, and they felt that there were others that had better talent level, better measurables, and they rather have that person, on their team.
And that could
I
be
mean,
true though.
we can never know, because I looked at the quarterbacks and a lot of people poo-pooed them, but trust and believe they were starters, on SEC teams. They
Right.
were starters, and and then it's just kind of like I get, you know, the first quarterback. I get why he went. Then I get,
Right.
why they chose Jackson Dart,
Mhm.
because the coach of New York, wanted that type of person, and wanted that quarterback. That's who he wanted. That's who he felt like he could win with. If somebody felt like they could win with Shador, they would have picked him. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's just kind of like, can this guy do what I need him to do in order to elevate the team? You know, I think all the QBs that were chosen, top tier, were mobile. Shador's not. He's not mobile. You know, throws from the pocket. Same thing. A lot of stuff that they say about my quarterback, Dak Prescott. He doesn't have a strong arm.
Yeah,
This
we
and
hope he
that.
not.
He's not
We hope he not
mobile.
like him.
What you
We
trying to
hope he's
say?
not
I
like
mean,
him. No, I'm just
oh
saying.
yeah, they better hope. They better hope he's something like him. Trust and
Oh
believe.
man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You worry about y'all quarterback that y'all just got.
What's that mean? What's that mean?
I'm just saying. It mean what I said it mean. You interpret it the way you want to interpret it. Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, all we can do is wait to see what happens.
Oh, there we go. That's Dak.
Wow, it
Prescott.
took you long enough. It took you
Yeah,
long
you
enough.
saw me looking. You saw me looking more. Yeah.
All right, it took you long enough. But I mean, it's all good. I want the best for the kid. I definitely want to see him come back and kill it. I know he will, because he has a good work ethic.
Right.
Has a good head on his shoulders, and I'm sure it'll be entertaining at its finest.
So they have 5
And
quarterbacks right now, right?
yeah, so it's like I haven't seen anything come good out of the Browns. That's the
Yeah,
only thing I could say.
that's the
So,
problem. They've
so if you
had
go, if
about
you,
40 quarterbacks in the last I
yeah,
think like 10 to 15 years.
right. So
So
I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. What I'm looking for is to see if he produces, and then it's like, oh, because Joe Flacco, I think they have Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson is out,
He's
Gabriel,
out. Watson is
yeah,
out.
huh?
Where he go? Where he go?
Yeah, he tore his Achilles, so he probably won't be back this year unless it's like late in the year, and they not going to the playoffs, so he might as well just
Ah,
kick his
okay.
feet up and
Yeah,
get more massages.
that's why they took all them quarterbacks, and they're like, let me just throw quarterbacks at the wall and see, you know, which one
Right.
sticks. You know.
Well, like you said, man, I wish the best for him, and we'll see what happens. This football season. Yeah, but we're not gonna hold you any longer. I know you got to run, Cuzzo. You have anything you want to close out with before we end the stream?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. Doing what you do as always. Every week we get on, man. It's always a pleasure to do it with you. Been consistent, man, for some time. So keep it going. Folks tune in, man. Like, share, comment. Man, we can only get better.
Like he said, like, share, and comment, man. Hey, that's the only way we get better. Y'all got to help us out, man. Help me, please help me. Yeah, but shout out to you too, cuz I appreciate you hopping on. And we gonna figure something out this a lot better for the both of us, but this is working right now, and like you said, we've been consistent. Want to continue to do it, want to continue to bring legit content and also different perspectives. And man, we look forward to having more stuff for you guys on another on each and every show, and we want to get better in each and every show. And the last thing I'll say that I try to close out with every week is in all things get understanding. In all things get understanding. In all things get understanding. All right. We appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and we out. Peace.